How are you? Good morning. How are you? Tony, are you there too? Tony? Tony? Okay, you do it. Both you ladies in? Okay, thank you. All right, let's do it. All right. So, uh, what's going on? Oh yeah. Okay, so I'll send you guys a recording just like always, but we're gonna go through just some basic Excel functionality. Two or three people have expressed some interest to me in learning a little bit more about it, so I'm just going to run through some really easy stuff. The Excel workbook we're looking at is actually what happens if you go into LinkedIn and you download your connections. This is all I did, and this is how the workbook comes out to you with all this data in the first 5 rows here. So, rows and columns, you can notice right away that you can't really see any of the data that's in those rows. And this happens a lot if you find an Excel sheet online, if you download data from wherever. The easiest way to open up those columns, is not to just, you can go over here and manually adjust them. But easier than that, you can highlight all the rows you're looking at, right click, and then go to column width, and you can make it whatever you want. Type in 25, click enter, opens up all your columns. Does it real easy peasy. You can do the same exact thing for the rows. Yeah. For the rows on the left side, you can do it all of them or just a few of them. You can take the row height and bump it up to 20, and you can see that it will, oblige and do that for you. The other neat thing you can do is if you download any type of data that either Kevin gives you, I give you, or you get from LinkedIn or whatever source you might get the data from. Let's say you downloaded it out of a roll-up in PCR. You can take the first row, go up to data, and click on filter. And what that'll do is that will make a filtering button next to each one of the column headers. So now, like these are my people in LinkedIn, I can go to position. I can take off all because I don't want all. I can go find, a certain thing that I'm looking for. Like let's say I was looking for a service manager. Let's see here. Boop, 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 boop. A lot of seniors. Service director right there. Click OK. It'll sort just the people that have service director titles out of my LinkedIn data. Now I can see this in the LinkedIn user interface too online, but it's not this easy, and the emails aren't just there readily available for me. Here they are. Here's where the guy is. Here's his name. Here's his email. His title is service director. And of course, this isn't just for your LinkedIn connections data. This is anytime you're using any type of Excel data, right? So that's how you sort data. We did rows and columns. Any questions on those two things?
Extract this data from your LinkedIn?
Yeah, you can go into your settings and download it. Yeah, only for first connections, but yeah. Oh yeah, if you just pull all the emails, yeah. And Charles has the Emma thing, so if you give Charles a list of emails and what you want to get across to them, whatever it is, he can send out an email blast. Absolutely. Absolutely, you can.
It's pretty simple to do. You just click and then you go to email, boom, it clicks and it populates all the emails in there and then you type up your email.
But the stored data can be used for all kinds of stuff. Like if you go and you type into like up here, let's say this was a Google taskbar. You can go into Google and put in file type : .xls and then search for. Remember the thing I was showing you about? You can find lists of people that companies have hosted online that they didn't really want to be public, that they didn't realize they were making public. I found a list of every chief executive officer at every single children's hospital in the entire country with contact numbers and emails. And I think it was 10,000 names long.
Where did you get that?
just from Google. You can search Google for Excel files, and it'll crawl the internet.
So people that do stuff and they inadvertently somehow.
Yeah, like if they type in their employee roster and they don't know where to put it.
And they put it public instead of. Typically, it is conference goers because those lists are usually public, but they still have a lot of data if you know how to find them and sort them and get it going. No. Yeah, some alarm. Okay, so we did rows and heights. I don't know if anyone's ever done Excel functions before, but real quick, we have our pay sheets. And our pay sheets roll up a sum of last month's starting balance plus whatever's in between that starting balance and the next month's starting balance, right? And that's why we put in negative numbers for our draws and positive numbers for any commissions that are earned. Well, I mean, more or less, the function that is at the bottom of there that's calculating that all for you is just the sum function. Anytime in Excel, if you put the equal sign, that signalizes to Excel that you're going to start a function. Sum is probably the most basic function they have. And then you open up a parentheses. Now, you could type in, 2 plus 2 plus 2, and it'll give you, you can type in 2 plus 2 plus 2, and it will give you 6. That is the sum of that. Or you can simply, as your cursor is in between there, you can simply drag what you want to sum up and click enter. And that'll give you the sum of all of them. And all that really does is put in a simple formula that says it's going to count up the sum of everything that's in the cell from J4, which that is J4, through J17. But it's not just limited to down one single column. If you wanted to add up all of the numbers in all three of these rows, you can feel free to go click all of that, and it will still sum up all those numbers for you, and it will put in the corresponding, functionality for what it is, J4 through L17 that gives you that, right? So that is the sum function. There's another one called COUNTIF. If you type in equals, COUNTIF, you have to open up a parentheses again. This one's really neat because we're going to go E colon E just means the entire E column. Come see me if you need that. But we're going to search the E column for service director. Oh, I messed it up. I have to put it in parentheses, I think. There are 25. Remember how we just pulled up service director and there were about 25 records? Well, the COUNTIF column will tell you how many times a certain thing that you want it to count happens in a column. I use this every day when we do call counts. I do a COUNTIF column E for extension 110, and that's how I get my real quick number of how many extension 110 calls happen during a certain day or whatnot. But that can be a very powerful formula depending on what you're working on. Copy and paste. I'm sure most of you know you can right-click and copy a cell, right-click in a new cell, and paste it, right? If you have a cell that is formatted, and sometimes these cells will be formatted before you get there. If it's like one of the money cells that we're working on in our pay sheet, if you copy a cell that has formats and you paste it, you'll see that it has the same formatting. It has the $sign, the 2 decimal points. If you copy a cell and right-click and paste special, you can paste just the value, and it previews what it's going to do. Just a 4. Regular paste is with formatting. Just values is just the 4. You can paste just the formatting like that, which means that now if I put any number in there, it has the dollar already because all it did was copy the format functions over to that cell. So there's a lot of neat things you can do with that as well, especially when you're copying and pasting numbers and you want them to be money and you don't want it to mess up how your pay sheet's looking. That's how we get that to look the same. As far as dragging down, if you take a list of numbers that are in order, 1, 2, 3, 4, or even 2, 4, 8, if it was skipping one, and you drag it down, 4, 6, 7, 8, you'll see that it fills it in sequentially in a row. If you take just the 1 and drag it down, it won't do that because it doesn't have enough information to get a sequence going. But if it is a sequence and you select the sequence and then you continue down, it will fill in the blanks for you. The neat thing about it is it does the same thing for dates. You got 2 dates together and you drag down, it's going to fill in all the dates in between. And that way, if you're doing a pay sheet or a call count sheet or whatever, that might be useful to you to do in a pinch. And I think that's it. Is there anything else anybody has any questions on in Excel?
Encourage you guys to go ahead and list. You're going to be more productive by calling off a list and doing like going through the PCR or any application one at a time. If you think about the process of what you want to accomplish, you can generate a list, generate the list, and you're going to knock down 20 calls an hour.
And you can generate a list to Excel on PCR.
Yeah, the roll-ups. You can create the name of people in a roll-up, and you can export that immediately.
If you want to do a search for technicians in Phoenix, you can do a search and you can download to Excel and just shoot off your list if you want.
Yeah. Or call right out of the roll-up, which makes sense. Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Christine, not Christine, Tony. I know you said, okay. How come you gotta go back?
Are we going to talk about anything else, Kevin?
Yes.
Okay. Hang up.
Those two are really big users, so they have to be told about.
Okay.